Today marks 1591st day of day lessons, day reflections. And today is a very interesting topic, that is stillness. And it's interesting because I was not able to be still for a long time. I was always on the go, always doing something. I was not able to really stay at home. Always be somewhere, come back, sleep, and that's it. I was never at home because I was never able to be still. But in the last year or so, I learned how important is stillness in our lives. And I will share seven brutal truths about stillness that I need to learn because, to be honest, when I think about for me not being able to be still, it was not coming from strength. It for sure was not. As most times coming from weakness. And stillness is strength. And sometimes I used to admire hustle, grind, but I think that we understand that hustle and grind could be great thing, but is where it coming from. If it's coming after stillness, through stillness, that's a great thing. But if it's grinding and hustle comes out of stillness, not from stillness, but like from house, that hustle and grind is not will not lead anywhere good. So today we'll share seven things. So number one, if you can be still, you're probably running from something. This is a big thing. Probably me as well. Like when I think about all the things that I did, sometimes it's just not be with yourself, with your own thoughts, because our thoughts potentially doesn't lead into positive emotions, and your maybe default thinking, default emotions are negative, and because of that, you want to run away from it. And because you want to run away, the best way to run away is not to be still and run and do, explore and then experience and then do things. And even from other people could say that, oh, this person is very, very ambitious as doing things. But I could tell you right away from my own experience that when we really do things all the time, that's a lot of times is running from away from something. Right? Because when you're able to be still, really still, at that moment you really develop the clarity necessary, and then you're able to be running and hustling and grinding. But that's all different. That's different because you're moving towards something, because you have full clarity, but only after stillness that you're actually able to achieve that. Number two is speed without direction is self sabotage. Speed without direction is self sabotage. So it means when you have stillness, at that moment you're able to develop and understand your direction. I'm guilty of that as well. I moved, I took a lot of action, and after a year or so, or even more, I realized that wow, I'm moving to a total different direction. So what happens? I wasted a year. I moved away even further away because if you have two lines and they are going different directions, the longer you stay into one line that is not your direction, the longer it take to really come back to your own direction. And that's why it's a self sabotage because now you will need to really get back where you're supposed to go. And stillness is allows us to say, is this aligned? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Sometimes, of course, we need to really go to different directions and explore and develop, understanding what works, what doesn't. But majority of times, the stillness will allow us to really understand the true direction of our lives. Clarity. Number three, I think this is where we're starting. Clarity only comes when noise dies. When noise dies, that means noise dies in stillness. And that's where we'll be able to develop clarity, understanding, and we'll know and develop that awareness of ourselves. And that means that in stillness we're able to reflect because we're not able to reflect in the noise, in the house, in the movement, in the grinding, in the hustle. Thus, that's not reflection. And when we're able to calm ourselves down and when we're able to reflect, at that moment, that clarity for life will come. Number four, emotional control is built in stillness. That means that stimulus, then we're able to pause and then respond. Majority of people in life, including myself, a lot of times I think that we experience stimulus and then we react. And that's totally different. When we're able to really think about, okay, how we could have more emotional maturity, more emotional control, we always want to include that pause, that stillness before response. And that pause and stillness before response is truly the the separator between people who really succeed and people who don't. Because a lot of times what leads that when there is stimulus and reaction, the reaction makes mistakes, and that mistake that we need to fix all the mistakes that we did. Why not make mistakes? Maybe even giving that 5, 10, 15 minutes, sometimes even a day, depends on what kind of reaction do we will do. Because I think that every single time when we put that pause and stillness before any kind of action, it will bring massive benefits at some point for sure. Because the pause is power. Number five, you can't hear your intuition over house. I think that intuition is probably, I call it subconscious of all. Our subconscious send our messages, and those messages are sent sometimes in a gut feeling, and that's his intuition. And our mind, our subconscious mind saying that, oh, maybe this is what it's supposed to do, because our subconscious mind has so much more knowledge. And our subconscious know exactly what you're supposed to do. And we have that gut feeling that this is what it's supposed to do. But that subconscious mind, that gut feeling, that intuition disappears when we always in the noise, always in the house, always in the grind. So if we want to really tap into subconscious, tap into intuition, tap into that gut feeling, we really want to create that stillness within ourselves, and that stillness will allow to hear ourselves better. Number six, stillness reveals your real weakness. And that's again part of the why we run away from it, because it will show who we truly are at the moment. And that's again, I always say that knowing where you are supposed to really create groundedness, so create empowerment. Because even though that you don't like where you are, but now knowing where you are and understanding what you need to do to get out of that situation is empowering. And stillness allows to really have that empowerment, have that groundedness, have that understanding what you need to really cover. Because some weaknesses you don't need to develop, because you're weak in your weaknesses. Maybe you need to find people who are great at your weakness, and there's their strengths. So you're able to really find people that to partner up, that they cover your weakness, you cover their weakness, and it's you know, a beautiful contribution and completion of of friends, of business partners, of significant other, and that's the beautiful thing. The last one, number seven, is the calmest person in the room moves the sharpest. That's why people say that don't be afraid of extrovert, be afraid of introvert, because they someplace quietly listen, reflect. They use a stillness as the superpower, and they're able to really understand what really needs to be done. Stillness without rushing, sit without panic. Their nervous system is in a place that they're able to decide without any pressure, anxiety, or nervous system, and they're able to use all their cognitive power to do the right thing. Because when you really want to react very, very fast, that creates anxiety and nervousness, and I truly believe it takes away of your cognitive power. And that means rather than you using 100% of your knowledge, now using 80, 70%, 80%, 50%. Our curiosity gets reduced, our resourcefulness gets reduced, and stillness increases of all the things that is necessary to make a right choice. So I share that stillness is an extremely important topic, and to be honest, I needed to learn that sooner, because majority of my life I was running for no reason, and I think I needed more clarity sometimes. Even though that I was sometimes proud of myself that I working so hard and pushing so hard, and no one else would push that hard. But when you push hard without direction, as I said at the beginning, something is a self-sabotage rather than really a great thing for you. So I hope you reflect as well how still you are and how still could you be for a day, for maybe 15 minutes. Because to be honest, at some point in my life, even 5 minutes of stillness was seeming as difficult. Now I'm able to really allow myself to be still, even for a month, it's if it's necessary, and I don't feel guilt because of that. Because in the past, I used to feel guilty not doing something, but now I feel stillness as something that is necessary. Is necessary. So when you have stillness within your life, That means that that's great. Let's use it. Let's use it to make sure that we're able to really have some kind of stimulus in life, pause, have the stillness, and I know, of course, we have clarity to execute in the right way. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.